Hello everyone, welcome to Cheongfuli Weekly Report. We bring you the latest price and market analysis of China's steel market every week. Spot prices continued to decline this week. The spot price of hot rolled coil fell by 60 yuan per ton week on week, and the spot price of rebar dropped by 40 yuan per ton. Market trading sentiment weakened and overall market activity decreased compared with last week. On the macro front, both US CPI and PPI exceeded expectations this week. The year-on-year PPI growth reached 6.0% and month-on-month growth stood at 1.4%, much higher than the expected 4.8% and 0.5%, pushing up inflation concerns. US Treasury yields hit new highs again, reversing capital expectations. Market sentiment shifted from anticipation of interest rate cuts to worries over interest rate hikes. Over the weekend, a gas explosion occurred at a coal mine in Qinyuan County, Shanxi Province, China, causing heavy casualties. In the wake of the accident, all coal mines in Qinyuan County have been shut down for safety inspections. On the supply side, the overall supply stayed steady. The total output of 5 major steel products registered 8.6222 million tons, rising by 219,600 tons week on week. Meanwhile, weekly iron output saw a mild increase. With sound profits enjoyed by steel mills, iron output still has room for further growth. By product, output increment mainly came from rebar, with weekly output at 2.2114 million tons, up 197,400 tons week on week. Hot rolled coil output rose slightly to 2.9926 million tons, a week-on-week increase of 24,000 tons. Demand performed relatively weak. The apparent steel consumption totaled 8.8058 million tons, down 309,500 tons week on week. Specifically, rebar apparent consumption was 2.4179 million tons, falling by 7,300 tons week on week. Hot rolled coil apparent consumption stood at 2.9784 million tons, decreasing by 96,600 tons week on week. Sustained price declines dragged down market confidence and speculative demand shrank obviously. In terms of inventory, the destocking pace of 5 major steel products slowed down remarkably. The total inventory amounted to 15.5691 million tons, reducing by 183,800 tons week on week. In detail, rebar inventory was 6.6529 million tons, down 206,500 tons week on week. Hot rolled coil inventory hit 4.0866 million tons, rising by 14,400 tons week on week. Overall, China's steel market operated weakly this week with a slight rise in steel output, a month-on-month decline in total demand, slower inventory destocking and weakened fundamentals. Steel mills still have strong willingness to increase and resume production. As domestic downstream demand gradually enters the off-season, terminal construction and procurement demand have limited room for further growth, raising potential pressure on supply and demand structure. Affected by the sudden domestic coal mine accident, coking coal supply will be constrained in the short term, forming solid cost support for steel prices. Despite insufficient sustained market driving forces and sluggish market outlook expectations, reduced raw material supply will prop up steel prices, which are expected to stay firm in the near term. Subsequent market trends require close monitoring of inventory digestion progress and regulatory policies, namely whether rectification is confined to the involved mine or expanded to regional and industrial-wide safety inspections. Based on the above analysis, here is our operational suggestion: purchase steel according to actual demand and properly control inventory risks. Institutional views hold that steel fundamentals have weakened marginally. The traditional peak demand season has entered its mid-stage, and rising rainfall in southern China is expected to dampen demand, leaving limited room for fundamental improvement. Nonetheless, tightened safety inspections across domestic coal mines may push coking coal prices higher and drive steel prices upward, keeping prices firm in the short term. In summary, steel prices will remain generally firm. Close attention should be paid to inventory digestion pace and changes in domestic coking coal supply. Okay, feel free to leave your thoughts, questions, or any related inquiries in the comment box below. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to follow us for more updates. See you next week.